Hello everyone. You might have wondered where I went because I stopped uploading very abruptly and I just kind of left without saying anything. Basically, I'm gonna go on a rant about every issue I have with Deepwoken and why I don't really play it anymore. I'm gonna try to make this like as cohesive and understandable as possible. If maybe even like a dev sees this and wants to know why a lot of veterans are just not playing the game anymore. And I think what honestly did it for me is that it takes way too long to make a build now. For how much they nerf things and how much you have to remake a build, it was really a lot simpler back in the Layer 1 days because you couldn't really perfect your build. So it was a lot easier to just settle with something. So with settling with a build also comes with settling with an enchant. Usually you'd have like one per build and you wouldn't really get to experiment much with a lot of things, which kind of kept the meta on like a down low. Like no one really knew what was the best, and you could just kind of use whatever and it would work if you were just the better player. But yeah, ironically enough, with this update, this layer 2 update that made all these ways to perfect your build so you didn't have to reprogress over and over and over again, which honestly no one really did. And even then, I'd rather do that shit still now than what you have to do. Like oh my god, you have to do so much garbage to get to where you want your build to be. And it's so fucking terrible. I'll lay out a few examples that really like get my nerves going because I like to make as in-depth builds as possible, which really I only made one build that I used for the entirety of layer 2 because it pissed me off so much to make it. But okay, basically, if you've watched my videos for the like past year, you have probably seen my Gale Hero Sword build. I I made this build at the start of layer 2 when it came out because I heard Hero Blade's got a new crit. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play the one that like probably no one plays. Turns out Gale Hero Blade was fucking crazy. It was the most broken shit, and it stayed broken for about like 4 or 5 months. I had a good run with it. I got top 10 on the leaderboard. It was pretty fun. But the thing about this build is that it was the first build I made in layer 2, and it took me like fucking 800 knowledge to perfect it, which that shit was not fun. I had to kill Etheron with a Hero Blade by myself so many fucking times. Do you know how long it takes to kill Etheron with a Hero Blade with like no damage multipliers because it's a PvP build? You know how long that takes? It takes a long time. It takes a really long time. Back then, mantras didn't do any damage to enemies. It was just straight up like 28 damage, Hero Blade swinging to kill Etheron. Each run of layer 2 took like fucking almost an hour. It took like 40 minutes each. And I was doing them all by myself. Long story short, if I had to compare which progression I'd rather do, it would be the verse 1 1,000 fucking percent. Because it just really didn't take as long as it does now. And the thing is, back then, I really liked making builds for videos and not having to think too hard about it because I knew it's not gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna spend forever on it, but I could get a build concept going. It would work pretty well, and then the video would come out great. It used to be awesome. What used to be probably like a maybe like 10-hour progression, maybe it could have been even less, I don't really remember, is now a fucking like 25-hour to like 30-hour progression. And honestly, my Gale Hero Sword build was like a week-long project because it took so long to get all the cards. Like, I was so unlucky. Basically, I guess I was a lot happier back when I could just put the stats in and get the cards. I'd probably miss a few. At most, I'd probably miss like a few commons, maybe a rare. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because in layer 1 verse 1, whatever you want to call it, if you were better, you would just beat the other person in like a parry trade battle. But in this new layer 2 verse 2 combat, it is not parry trade anymore. This is mage trading. Not to say that the new combat is like complete dog shit, but you do just have a get out of jail free card now if you fuck up, and it's pretty fucking brain dead. Uh, but yeah, um, most of the builds I see nowadays, nothing is really like, if you're going like a melee build, like less magic intense, you're Silent Heart, bro. You're no magic. But if you're using magic at all, my god, these caster mage builds are fucking disgusting. The thing that used to be considered OP was like Glacial Arc doing like 2 bars of damage. But now what's overpowered and what people do now, since they have all this freedom to just fight each other in an arena, test their broken builds that they perfect after spending like 80 hours on it, what they do is they'll just find like some mantra that breaks another mantra, they use them together, and it just does some unavoidable combo attack, and that's basically what the game has devolved into. People will make these builds, and the build will get nerfed, and they're forced to make another one, and they just keep finding more of them because the game is so unbalanced, and there's so many mantras to choose from that there's just always probably an option to like break the game with. But yeah, anyways, basically the way they handle content in this game and like balancing, they're just really terrible at it, in my opinion. Like, I I don't know how long it took them to make what's that card called, that ice one that makes you Saint J. I don't know how long it took them to make like ice not last for like 2 fucking minutes on a person. And oh, it was the worst. It was just the worst, man. Playing that meta, oh, it was just the worst. Basically, with all these hindrances to make a build and how just bullshit the combat is now, to be honest, and lack of content being added ever, it really killed my passion to even play the game and make videos at all. Like, you'll probably see one of my last arcs of uploading was just me, like, racing Supa and the Real Punchy to upload a video, because they always upload videos just, like, frame 1 of a fucking update on Monday or whatever. And that's pretty much what the content devolved into. It was really barbaric. So with all these quality of life changes to progression, and it somehow making progression take longer and make it more tedious, they also just don't add any content to do while you're progressing. It's been the same thing for 2 years. You kill the same NPCs you've always killed, nothing's changed. You do that, you kill Duke till you get like max level, then you go farm your other shit. But it was never as bad as it is now. Like, think about, like, why have they not added dungeons to do during progression? Like, no bandit cave, no fucking elemental like chapel or something. No, they don't have any other instance dungeons other than Duke and Etheron. That's crazy to me, considering what type of game this is. I don't know. I guess to end off the video, the game's just really boring at the moment, and I haven't really been motivated to play it. And there's been so many times where I get on, I do trial of 1, and I'm like, this is it, I'm gonna make a new build, and then I ultimately just get off after trial of 1 and I forget about it and play something else. That's about it for the video though. Like and subscribe if you want, comment if you want, complain in the comments, and I'll read them maybe. I like complaining about Deepwoken. This is realnick signing out.
Hey, it's me, Goku! Is that all you got? Frieza?